They say big things come in small packages, and when it comes to these tiny coins, that couldn't be more true. In the world of Roosevelt dimes, a few rare years have flipped their way into numismatic fame. What if the change rattling in your drawer is actually worth thousands? In this episode, we're uncovering three powerhouse coins hiding behind 10-cent faces: the elusive 1970 Roosevelt dime, the historic 1976 issue, and the quietly valuable 1978 version. These aren't just coins, they're stories, secrets, and silent treasures waiting to be discovered. Let's start from the 1971 dime coin. In a time when the American spirit was being tested by the tumultuous events of the late 1960s and early 1970s, a small silver-colored coin quietly continued its journey through pockets, cash registers, and forgotten jars. The 1970 Roosevelt dime, although diminutive in size and value, has become a shining beacon for collectors and historians alike. Its story is not just about metal and minting, but about timing, legacy, and the powerful symbols etched into its modest surface. Emerging from an era that had witnessed the moon landing, civil rights protests, and the Vietnam War, this particular dime reflected more than monetary worth. It represented a nation's resilience and desire for progress. The Roosevelt dime had already been in circulation for 24 years by 1970, having first been introduced in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt. A symbol of courage and leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, Roosevelt's likeness was chosen for the dime partly because of his personal battle with polio and his support for the March of Dimes. By the 1970s, the design was familiar, even comforting to Americans, bearing the image of a leader who had steered them through some of their darkest hours. The 1970 dime was produced at a time of subtle change. The Denver Mint took the lead on the circulation coins that year, as the Philadelphia Mint did not issue business strike dimes dated 1970. This simple fact alone makes the 1970 D Roosevelt dime a unique player in the series. The San Francisco Mint, on the other hand, produced proof versions intended for collectors, each one struck with extra care, resulting in a mirror-like finish and sharp detail. Beyond its origins, the allure of the 1970 Roosevelt dime lies in the variations, errors, and immaculate specimens that have emerged over time. Some examples feature misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or doubling in the lettering, minute quirks that turn an everyday coin into a coveted treasure. And it is these anomalies that have launched certain 1970 dimes from change drawers into auction blocks, where their rarity commands astonishing prices. Among collectors, finding a pristine 1970 D dime with full torch lines, meaning the horizontal and vertical lines on the torch on the reverse are fully struck, is like discovering a diamond in the rough. Numismatists prize these full torch specimens for their beauty and scarcity. Most dimes from that year were not struck with the precision needed to preserve the fine details of the torch, making full torch examples exceedingly rare. Combine this with the search for coins in flawless mint state, and the 1970 D Roosevelt dime becomes a worthy challenge for even seasoned collectors. As the decades passed, interest in the Roosevelt dime series grew. What was once dismissed as ordinary became a subject of intense scrutiny. Collectors began hunting for top-grade examples and error coins from coin shows, estate sales, and even forgotten piggy banks. Stories surfaced of people unknowingly sitting on a fortune, unaware that a seemingly plain dime could be worth thousands. Indeed, the 1970 Roosevelt dime has been known to fetch prices as high as $102,000 in auctions, especially for coins in top condition or with exceptional error traits. Others, more modest yet still valuable, have sold for upwards of $3,300. These sales are not mere flukes, they reflect the increasing appreciation for numismatic artistry and the deep emotional connection collectors have with American history. Today, the story of the 1970 Roosevelt dime continues to inspire. It is a tale of transformation, where ordinary becomes extraordinary and the overlooked becomes prized. It's about more than just the metal, it's about legacy, discovery, and the joy of finding treasure in the least expected place. So, the next time you hold a dime in your hand, consider its journey. It may not just be 10 cents. It might be a silent witness to history, and a hidden gem worth far more than anyone ever imagined. In the bustling year of 1976, as America celebrated its bicentennial with fireworks, parades, and a surge of patriotic pride, something far more understated was quietly making its way into the hands of millions, an unassuming coin that would, decades later, become a subject of intrigue and admiration. That coin was the 1976 Roosevelt I dime. While the spotlight was firmly fixed on commemorative quarters and half dollars created to honor 200 years of American independence, the Roosevelt dime continued its silent journey through the U.S. Mint, embodying a legacy that began in 1946. Named in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, this 10-cent piece had already established itself as a staple of everyday commerce and a symbol of national resilience. But the 1976 issue, minted during a time of historical significance, holds a special place in the hearts of collectors and historians alike. The dime's design had remained largely unchanged since its inception, with the obverse showcasing the dignified profile of President Roosevelt, and the reverse featuring a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. However, what makes the 1976 version particularly captivating isn't just its context or the familiar artistry, it's the potential rarity hidden within the millions minted that year. As with all coins, not every 1976 Roosevelt dime was created equal. Minting anomalies, exceptional strikes, and near-pristine preservation have elevated certain examples to legendary status. In a world where countless dimes jingle unnoticed in pockets and piggy banks, a select few from 1976 have emerged as stars, commanding astounding values at auction. To understand the true significance of this dime, we must look beyond its face value. The Denver and Philadelphia mints produced an enormous number of dimes in 1976, with the Philadelphia mint notably not including a mint mark on its coins at the time. This small detail, seemingly insignificant to the average spender, has become crucial in identifying and valuing dimes from that year. Add to that the possibility of double dies, off-center strikes, and other mint errors, and suddenly the 1976 Roosevelt dime transforms from a common coin to a collector's treasure chest. Some examples, perfectly struck and carefully preserved, have crossed the auction block for tens of thousands of dollars. One particular gem-quality specimen, flawless in its presentation and verified by top grading agencies, sold for a staggering $162,000, a mind-boggling price for a piece of metal once worth only a dime. But the story of the 1976 Roosevelt dime isn't just about rare errors or exceptional quality. It's about timing, national sentiment, and the way everyday objects become historical artifacts when viewed through the lens of passion and precision. Coin collectors, or numismatists, have long appreciated the subtle stories coins tell, about who we are, where we've been, and what we value. The 1976 dime, circulating quietly during a year of nationwide celebration, offers just such a story. It represents continuity amid change, the enduring respect for a president who guided the country through dark times, and the hidden worth that lies within the ordinary. Today, those who stumble upon a 1976 Roosevelt dime might simply set it aside or spend it without a second thought. But for those in the know, that little coin could be a key to uncovering a piece of history, or unlocking significant value. From dusty drawers to coin albums, from forgotten rolls to showcase collections, the 1976 Roosevelt dime continues to spark curiosity and excitement. Whether discovered by chance or pursued with intention, it reminds us that even the smallest items can carry the biggest stories. And for a fortunate few, the journey that began with 10 cents could very well end with a fortune between $3,400 and $162,000. So the next time you come across a Roosevelt dime from 1976, take a closer look. Inspect the details, appreciate the design, and consider the legacy it represents. Because hidden within that tiny silver circle is a celebration of American history, the meticulous craftsmanship of the mint, and perhaps, just perhaps, the potential for an extraordinary reward. In the quiet hum of daily commerce, where dimes pass swiftly from hand to hand, unnoticed and unexamined, lies the incredible story of a single coin, the 1978 Roosevelt dime. It's a piece so familiar that most people wouldn't think twice before dropping it into a vending machine or tossing it into a tip jar. And yet, in this unassuming slice of American change, there exists a world of history, mystery, and unexpected fortune. The year was 1978, and the United States found itself on the threshold of change. The decade of bell-bottoms and disco was nearing its end, and a new chapter in American society and technology was beginning to unfold. Gasoline shortages had begun to hint at global uncertainty, while the first inklings of the digital revolution were taking root in homes across the country. As the cultural fabric of America shifted, the U.S. Mint continued its time-honored task of producing coins that would carry the weight of a nation's daily life. Among the many coins struck that year, the Roosevelt dime carried more than monetary value. It bore the legacy of a president who had steered the country through its darkest hours. Franklin D. Roosevelt, whose profile adorned the obverse of the dime, was more than just a face on a coin. He was a symbol of endurance, leadership, and social progress. His New Deal policies had reshaped the American economy, and his vision had forever altered the nation's trajectory. The dime served as a tribute to his memory since 1946, the year after his death, and by 1978, the coin had become a fixture of American currency for over 3 decades. Designed by John R. Sinek, the coin's imagery remained consistent: Roosevelt's left-facing profile on the front, with the reverse displaying a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, signifying liberty, peace, and strength. While the design stayed steady, the 1978 edition of the Roosevelt Dime held peculiarities that would eventually catch the eye of collectors. Minted in large quantities in Philadelphia and Denver, most of these dimes saw a life of daily utility. But not all coins are created equal. Some bore the subtle hallmarks of errors: doubled dies, off-center strikes, weak mint marks, or planchet flaws. In a hobby where perfection and rarity can drive value sky-high, these anomalies transformed the ordinary into the extraordinary. The Denver Mint, which produced a significant portion of the 1978 Roosevelt dimes, occasionally let a few such flawed coins escape into circulation. Over time, numismatists began to identify these outliers. They scoured pocket change, coin rolls, and estate collections, searching for that elusive variation that could change everything. The hunt was not merely for financial gain, it was fueled by passion, curiosity, and the thrill of connecting to history in the palm of one's hand. It's this intersection of chance and detail that made the 1978 Roosevelt Dime a standout. Whether it was a specimen with a rare minting anomaly or a high-grade uncirculated coin preserved against all odds, certain pieces began fetching surprising figures at auctions. Some dimes, graded MS-68 or better, commanded thousands of dollars, thanks to their pristine condition and scarcity. A few exceptional examples, featuring misprints or proof-like finishes, have even been valued up to $129,000, leaving collectors and casual observers alike stunned by the hidden potential of a 10-cent coin. Beyond its value in dollars, the 1978 Roosevelt Dime serves as a powerful reminder. In a world obsessed with the big and the bold, sometimes the smallest things carry the richest stories. This coin, humble in appearance but mighty in history and value, teaches us that treasure doesn't always glitter in gold, it often jingles in pockets, waiting to be noticed. And so, from the clinking trays of registers to the velvet-lined boxes of elite collectors, the journey of the 1978 Roosevelt Dime continues, a legacy of American craftsmanship, presidential homage, and numismatic wonder. Somewhere out there, another such dime could still be lying in wait, holding its silent secret and waiting for someone curious enough to uncover its incredible worth, ranging today from $1,700 to a staggering $129,000.